Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Meta AI is the personal AI to help you with whatever you need. Plus, it meets you where you are. Not only is Meta AI now an app, but it's also on the apps you already know and love. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Plus the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to use throughout your day. Experience our newest AI that's tailored to you by downloading the Meta AI app. Try the Meta AI app today on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome in to the facility. Not necessarily new faces, but we got T back in the house. That's TJ Houshmandzadeh, 12-year NFL vet. T, I think I left this on the desk. That's on me. It's Monday. Apologies, beautiful people. Getting the rust off. To my left, Super Bowl champ, the one and only James Jones. Now, on any given Monday, you have to start a show with one simple question. T, what was the highlight of the weekend?
I don't know if it was a highlight, man. We lost the basketball tournament. My son's team.
How old?
11.
Did he cry?
No, ain't no crying.
Did you cry?
Not physically cry, but yeah, I was hurting.
I think the better question would have been was how well did he play? Because if he didn't play well, then the car ride is what.
Nah, you know what, man? I've gotten, because of my daughters.
Okay.
They used to get the car ride talk.
Gotcha.
My son, I'm chilling.
Hold on, the car ride talk. Viewers at home, I don't necessarily know what that is. So, T, what exactly is the car ride talk?
All the mistakes we made in the game, wow. And what we gonna do so those mistakes don't pop up again.
Hey, and for me, it's all about how hard you play, all right? If you didn't play hard, we finna have a problem. And if you ain't shoot the ball. I be telling my kids, what's the name of the shoes you got on? I got the coat. He gon' shoot. you don't got the Pat Beverly's on.
Hey, you know what they do though? Acho, when they know they had a bad game and they know these card right talks, as soon as you get in the car, they act like they sleep.
That's it. Hey, that's quite the tactic. Well, we're glad you woke up on this morning. So much to get to. Genuinely do not know how we're going to get it all in. A lot of very interesting topics. Some you may not have heard of, but this one I know you have. Starting with LeBron James in the NBA. He picked up his player option for over $52 million to remain with the Lakers this season. His agent, Rich Paul, said LeBron will be closely monitoring the Lakers' moves to see if they are positioning themselves this offseason to be a title contender. Bringing us back on camera, please. After I saw this, I thought to myself, I love this decision, LeBron staying with the Lakers. I think LeBron staying with the Lakers at this point in his career, the best move LeBron can make is a legacy move for his son, Bronny James. If you stay with the Lakers, at least you can do this. You can ensure that Bronny James can stay in the NBA for the next 8 to 12 years. If you leave the Lakers, then you're leaving Bronny James kind of to just be stuck in the wilderness of the NBA. You don't know if he'll make it. You don't know if he won't make it. But at this point in LeBron's career, I don't know what another ring will do. Yeah. I don't know what another playoff appearance will do. I don't know what another deep playoff run just to lose in the conference finals or lose in the NBA finals will do. But I do know this. More than anything, you can set your son, Bronny, up, who got drafted last year, second round, I think 55th overall pick. You can set him up for success going forward. T just started off the show. James started off the show talking about their kids. I would say, and I can't speak for them, but I can guess for them, that nothing is more important to them in this life than their kids. So if LeBron can set his child, Bronny, up for the future, then that's worth it. I don't know that the Lakers are going to compete for titles. I don't know that the Lakers are going to compete for championships, but LeBron can do something that is even more important at this stage in his career than a title, which is setting his son, Bronny, up. So I don't think, James, it's a mistake to stay with the Lakers. How do you feel?
I absolutely love this decision, and one of the main decisions was Bronny.
Yeah.
Your son is here. You said, I want to play with my son. You played with him this year. Continue to play with him. LeBron probably has 2 more years in the NBA. Enjoy it with your son. Enjoy it with your family. Don't have to move him again. And then not only that, where are you going? OKC? Mm-hmm. I mean, where are you going? Like, LeBron trying to go out there and get with another big 3 or to chase another ring and all that. No, stay put. See if they can add some pieces here with the Lakers. They already gave you Luka. I absolutely love his decision to stay here, man, and play. Obviously, has a lot of things going on here, but I think this is the right place for him to be, too, with a chance to compete with Luka on the side of him.
I love it. Y'all know I love it. And anytime you're making $52 million,
You know what I'm saying?
it's never a mistake. We ain't making $52 million mistakes, right?
Yeah.
But what Acho said to me is so important is his son is here.
No doubt.
And LeBron is going to play as long as Bronny has not established himself.
Yeah.
So I say 2 years because within Bronny going into his 4th year, he's going to show whether he's a player or he's not a player. And at that point, it's like LeBron lead the Lakers, he can't look after Bronny. And as a parent, we going to look after our children. And so I love it. But where else could he have gone and made $52 million? OKC, they not giving LeBron $52 million. The Boston Celtics, they not going to give LeBron 50. So what team could he have gone to, be competitive, and also make $52 million? Right. And so, to me, I like it because if we had a big, we right there.
Correct. And that's the thing. When I think about the West, right, and I want to remind y'all of the standings, the Western Conference picture is so close that, to T's point, unless you're going to play for the reigning champ Oklahoma City Thunder, you might as well stay on the Lakers.
Exactly.
The gap between the 2 seed and the 8 seed in the Western Conference was simply 4 games. The gap between the 2 seed, y'all, and the 8 seed was 4 games. Every team from the 2 seed to the 10 seed in the West, they have deficiencies. The Rockets, we don't know what they're going to look like. Their deficiency is a lack of chemistry. Kevin Durant just got there. You see the Denver Nuggets, their deficiency, they don't have a head coach. They're still trying to stabilize from a coaching perspective. Plus, some of the star players are starting to get older and more injured. The Clippers, they've never gone past the 2nd round. Obviously, the Lakers, they need a big, and Austin Reeves needs to figure out if he can show up in the playoffs. The Minnesota Timberwolves, Randolph, what is he doing as a number 2? And Ant-Man, he still has to figure out how to score in the playoffs. The Warriors are old. And the Grizzlies are led by Ja Morant, and now with Bane out the window, who knows what they're going to do. The Dallas Mavericks are sitting there as a 9-10 seed, and even the Mavericks are trying to figure out what they can do from a health perspective, and they're going to have to be highly dependent on a rookie in Cooper Flagg. You might as well stay in L.A. because outside of the Thunder, the Lakers give you just as good a shot to win as anybody else.
And not only that, like, Tino, I mean, you don't got no kids. The toughest thing to do in your career is keep moving them. You know, and I know his kids are older, and I know he still has a young daughter, but when you just keep, hey, you at this school, you at that school, like, you were blessed, I was blessed to play at a place for a long time, but at the end of our career, we did bounce around a little bit. And it's like, man, you know what?
Yeah.
It's done with that movie, man. I'm going to stay put. My son here, family here, everybody good. And you got a chance.
T, I found something that you would find more fascinating than anybody else. The NFL, they came out with the rankings, not necessarily the NFL, but it has to do with the NFL. The rankings of the best players in football. You played the majority of your career with the Bengals. Joe Burrow, fascinatingly, ranked the 7th best player in the NFL, behind the likes of Patrick Mahomes. Y'all see the list. Myles Garrett, Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, Lamar Jackson, but ahead of Jamar Chase, Surtain, and Michael Parsons, rounding out the top 10. For the sake of this conversation, T, focusing on the team that drafted you, if I am not mistaken, that is the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that you're more familiar with than any other team in the NFL. You have an issue with cool Joe Burrow being ranked the 7th best player in the NFL.
Man, when you do this ranking, and Joe Burrow's number 7, your list ain't valid. It don't make no sense.
Why?
Straight up and down. Now, you looking like that.
Yeah.
So now, James Jones and Emmanuel, y'all the general managers. Let me ask you this.
Okay, so now
I'm going to call James Jones and Emmanuel Acho, the general manager, and I'm going to say, hey, guys, trade me Myles Garrett and all 4 of your quarterbacks. I'll give you Joe Burrow. You making that trade?
Of course.
Of course you are.
Of course.
That's different.
No, hold up.
Go ahead, go listening.
Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Jones, Mr. Acho.
Yeah.
I want to trade Joe Burrow to you guys, but I want you to give me Saquon and Jalen Hurts. You going to do that?
Of course.
Absolutely. Of course you going to do that. Yeah. Hey, one more call. Mr. Jones and Mr. Acho.
Hold on, let me call you back.
I want J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson. I'm going to send you Joe Burrow. You going to do that?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Of course you going to do it. And you going to have him behind those guys? Now, to me, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. No order. Those are the 4. They special. They're in a league of their own. So when you have him number 7, that's disrespectful. That don't make no sense because everybody, all those guys in front of him that I just named, their teams would trade them and something else for Joe Burrow.
A different conversation. I feel like the conversation T is subtly having is who are the top 10 most valuable players? Because for me, Joe Burrow is not undoubtedly the best player at his position. Saquon Barkley is. Myles Garrett might not be undoubtedly the best player at his position because of T.J. Watt, but Myles Garrett is a future first-ballot Hall of Famer. Saquon Barkley likely as well. I don't mind putting first-ballot Hall of Famers, people that are either undoubtedly or more than likely, Justin Jefferson, the best player at their position ahead of cool Joe Burrow. I think 7 is actually a perfect landing spot for Joe Burrow on this list. Now, obviously, I'm going to give you a non-quarterback for a quarterback. You can take Saquon, give me Joe.
100%.
You can take Myles, give me Joe. But Myles Garrett is better at what he does than Joe Burrow is at what he does.
I don't know. I wouldn't agree with that.
How?
I wouldn't agree with that.
How, sir? Joe Burrow ain't got no All-Pros, not a first team nor a second team. No. Joe Burrow has 1 Pro Bowl. Myles Garrett has a Defensive Player of the Year. Forget an All-Pro. I'm better than everybody in football that plays defense. Joe Burrow cannot say that, sir. You got to break down how Joe Burrow might be as good as Myles.
No, Joe Burrow can say that, and there's many that would agree with him. Not all. If Joe Burrow said, I'm the best player in the league, there are many people that would agree with him. Many.
Aren't Bengals fans?
Non-Bengals fans. The way Joe has been injured. When Joe is not injured, he's one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league.
I agree.
2 Pro Bowls, T. That's it.
But I do agree.
No All-Pros.
One of the better quarterback. None.
No.
You know that.
The fact that Joe Burrow has no All-Pros and I do is crazy. That's crazy.
I'm just saying.
That's crazy. Think about that. I have him, and he does it is crazy. But
one of the best at your position. I
got 2 of them. This is the thing, though. This is the thing, is I just look at the Bengals have come so far, and they still have so far to go when it comes to other organizations.
Yeah.
To take them to the Super Bowl, because I know
what that means.
That's a lot. He's in a situation where he's always fighting uphill. Look, the Eagles. You get drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't think people realize how lucky you are. That's a gift to be drafted to an organization. I'm not saying it's a curse to go to the Bengals, but it's harder. It's harder, and to do what he's done there, and all those guys, I'm not saying they can't play. They're great players.
No doubt.
Myles Garrett, to me, is the best pass rusher in the league. Mm-hmm. But I want Joe Burrow.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's the quarterback. I have no problem with it. Joe Burrow's one of the baddest men in the NFL. So I have no problem with him being in the top 10. I disagree with TJ thinking he should be in the top 5 and all that when you're arguably the 4th best quarterback in the league, and we arguing should you be in front of the best pass rusher in the league or the best receiver in the league or the best running back in the league. So I don't mind this because Joe Burrow's a bad man, but at the end of the day, though, Joe Burrow could be going on year 3 with no playoffs. Mm-hmm. He was healthy all year last year, T, and his team did not make the playoffs. But I still don't have a problem with it because everything you said, T, about him being a bad man, that is Joe.
That's true.
Joe is that. And I would trade Saquon Barkley straight up for Joe Burrow. You would because you need a quarterback for your franchise. But when you talk about the best players, I can't put him in the top 5 and you're the 4th best at your position. I just can't do that.
Where I will agree with T, and I think this is the most fascinating, undiscussed conversation in all of sports, is the fact that the Bengals were so bad and Joe Burrow made them so good. I was drafted to the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, good.
You were drafted to the Bengals. You were drafted to the Packers. So you don't understand the poverty struggle of some of these poverty franchises. And I don't mean poverty necessarily by wealth. I mean poverty by mindset. I tell this story all the time. T, you can relate. James, you probably can't. My first day of training camp with the Cleveland Browns, I'm coming from the University of Texas. At the University of Texas, I played in a national championship game. My coach goes into the College Football Hall of Fame in Mac Brown. I know nothing besides winning. Yeah. When we lose, it's a surprise. Last 2 years at Texas, we lost. Surprise. I go to Cleveland. This is a true story. I'm in Cleveland. We just finished an incredible workout in the offseason. The offseason, you are living in a utopian society where everything will go well, everything will go right. Y'all are the best team in football. Our coach, he brings us all up. Hey, fellas, bring it in. You got about 53 palms raised in the middle of the circle, 53 of them. At that time, it's the offseason, so you really probably have closer to 90 fists raised into the circle. Helmets lifted above the head, beads of sweat beating down the face. Our coach, with everybody in the circle, he says this, hey, fellas, if y'all continue to practice like this, these kind of perfect bricks you're laying down, this foundation, we'll look up at the end of the season, we'll be 12-4. we'll be 13-3. And I'm sitting there with my fist up thinking to myself, did this mother sucker just give us losses? Like, wait, if we're perfect, you're assuming we're going to lose? I was like, oh, this is Cleveland. Even in your head, you've already lost games. In the offseason, it's, hey, fellas, we got a Super Bowl team. We do stuff like this, nobody can beat us. But with my fist raised, I'm like, oh, this is why Cleveland's sorry. Because the coach can't even believe the lie that they'll be good.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that moment because I was like, this is why they suck.
Yeah.
And it's my first time there, so I am the they that sucks. And so when I think about the Joe Burrows, and that's why I fight so hard for the Baker Mayfield, it's not a Baker Mayfield conversation, but when I think about the Joe Burrows or people that resurrect poverty franchises, I'm like, y'all don't understand. That player walked into an organization where the coach and the whole organization already assumed they're going to lose and made them winners. For that reason, I give you that.
But that's why we put Joe in the top 4 right now, though.
Without having the All-Pros.
Without being in the playoffs the last 2 years, we still say, with what Joe did, being the first overall pick, coming to Cincinnati, taking them to an AFC championship and a Super, we put him in them conversations because of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think Joe gets a lot of respect that he deserves and that he earned, and he's a bad man. Better get your butt to them playoffs.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
An absolute chaotic day in the world of sports. The Pittsburgh Steelers acquired Aaron Rodgers about 2 weeks ago, and now they are going all in. Traded Minkah Fitzpatrick, their All-Pro, for the Miami Dolphins All-Pro. That is Jalen Ramsey. Mike Tomlin said that's not it. I want tight end Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, 4th in receiving yards last year, ahead of the likes of Travis Kelce at tight end. James Jones, you won the only Super Bowl Aaron Rodgers has ever won. You know the path for Aaron Rodgers to win a Super Bowl. So nobody better suited to answer this question on national television than the one I'm about to ask you right now. Are the Steelers finally legitimate Super Bowl contenders?
Oh, my goodness, I do. Oh, my goodness, that's the question. I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say yeah. I think these two pieces solidify what the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to do, defensively and offensively. Yes, it's a passing league. We need a guy that can cover. Offensively, 12 personnel. Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal in 12 personnel. 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers. Now, what that 12 personnel allows the Pittsburgh Steelers to do is the defense cannot play you in nickel. And nickel is 5 DBs on the football field, because if there's 5 DBs on the football field, that means they are going to run the air out of the football, because now you have tight ends and tackles blocking corners, blocking the small guys, and that is going to be very, very hard for a defense to stop the run. So you have to bring in another linebacker. When you bring in another linebacker, now you have the linebackers guarding your 2 good tight ends in Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, and Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best throwers of the football in the National Football League, so it suits them on offense. And then we all know it's a passing league. You get Jalen Ramsey in there, who's a better cover corner, who's a better cover player than Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think this is 2 really good moves that puts them in that championship conversation, man, with Aaron Rodgers and these moves.
This is the best news for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I'm going to say a lot. Hopefully everybody can digest a lot. I do believe the Steelers are now Super Bowl contenders for several reasons. The biggest void offensively for the Steelers was at number 2 wide receiver. By acquiring Jonnu Smith, you no longer have to tend to that void, because instead of living in 10 or 11 personnel, like James said, you can live in 12 personnel. But I'll do you one even better. I believe an elite receiving tight end is more valuable than elite receiving receiver, because there are better cover cornerbacks than there are cover linebackers. So now if I'm in 12 personnel and I have Freiermuth and I have Jonnu Smith, a linebacker is on one of those tight ends and a safety is on the other tight end. Either way, advantage Jonnu Smith, because he can likely route up both safeties and he can route up linebackers, because it's hard to find great cover linebackers in the National Football League. The Steelers, they lived in 12 personnel, the 12th most in the NFL last year. Now, by acquiring Jonnu Smith, they'll live in 12 personnel even more. Then defensively, I believe the Steelers, they still have an assortment of riches because in nickel personnel, then you'll put Jalen Ramsey in the slot. You can start Juan Thornhill and Deshaun Elliott at safety, Joey Porter Jr. on the outside, Darius Slay on the outside. In base personnel, when the opponent comes out in their own 12 personnel package, now move Jalen Ramsey back to safety with Deshaun Elliott. He can be a down safety. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., and Darius Slay on the outside. So either way, you're maximizing Jalen Ramsey's impact on the defense. And with Jonnu Smith, the place you were weak on offense now becomes strong, and you can manipulate most other NFL defenses because if you have Jonnu Smith, if we want to play cover 3, and we want to rotate a down safety, then Jonnu Smith, just find a way to eat on a hook curl defender. If we want to play cover 1, then we got to have one linebackers in the hole, one linebackers on a tight end. In the hole just means you're reading the quarterback size. The other safety's on the other tight end. Jonnu Smith, go to work. You had more receiving yards than Travis Kelce last year, nearly 900 of them. I think the Steelers actually somehow just became Super Bowl contenders.
Man, I'd say the two men to my left, a little stretching it. They're better. They're better. They're better today than they were yesterday.
Yes, significantly.
Are they Super Bowl contenders? I can't say just because they acquired Jonnu Smith. Offensively, that makes them a Super Bowl contender. If we said...
We're talking Ramsey.
But offensively, for me, is where they need to improve. If we said the Steelers had a Jonnu Smith, I wouldn't say that puts them over the hump. If they acquired a T.J. Hockenson, a Sam Laporta, a George Kittle, a McBride, nobody will never say that Jonnu Smith is one of the top tight ends. He's a good athletic tight end, but he's not just going to put their offense over the top. He's not going to do that. Does it make them better? Yeah. Does it make them Super Bowl contenders? Not in my eyes. They're going to always be good on defense. Ramsey's going to make them better. I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers, so wherever he goes, I think he's going to do well. But Super Bowl contender? Nah.
But don't you think at least now, because for me, every team outside of the Philadelphia Eagles, I would suggest, has weaknesses.
Yes.
Now at least the Steelers are in the same conversation of weaknesses as everybody else. Beforehand, the Steelers had way more weaknesses. You have no number 2 playmaker on offense. You still don't have an explosive running game. Your offensive line is still suspect. So now the Steelers, I can't put you in the same conversation as the Chiefs' weaknesses. Chiefs have a questionable O-line. The Bengals' weaknesses. The Bengals, I still need to see more from the running back, and defensively, we know the defense is all in question. At least now the Steelers' weakness, I still need an explosive running back, and the offensive line is in question. Outside of that, you got a number 2 playmaker in Jonnu. You got a number 1 playmaker in DK. You got a quarterback who knows how to win a Super Bowl. You have a defense that is elite. Now the Steelers have the same amount of weaknesses as everybody else not named the Eagles. So that's why I'm saying, T, that's why I'm saying, Jay, now the Steelers are in the same conversation as everybody else. Yeah. Now, I would love a game-changing running back. I would love one, but at least now they're in the same conversation.
Aaron Rodgers is going to make that offensive line better. Yeah. Good quarterbacks make average offensive line. He's going to get rid of the ball because he knows what he's seeing. This is what people don't talk about a lot. Is Pat Freiermuth okay with now I'm going to be on quote-unquote the second tight end and not the first one? Is he going to be okay with that?
Have to be.
We're grown men. I'm going through the whole offseason. I'm getting ready for training camp. I'm training. He probably on the field training right now. You think he's going to be okay with that? And so there has to be a lot of buy-in from your players also because this can end bad. This is a team. We all got to do our jobs. But I want to get paid also. I want to support my family also. And that's the mentality that guys have. And so it helps them. But I just can't say, they acquired Jonnu Smith. They Super Bowl contenders. I can't say that.
I'm saying it because I believe it's the perfect fit for what they want to do. And if you can get into the perfect fit of really what you want to do offensively, I think that is going to help you. And I think this move right here with Jonnu Smith and Freiermuth, and you have DK that can run, you have Austin that can run, this screams the perfect fit for what they're trying to do offensively. And I believe with that, they will be better offensively because you can put people in matchup problems with these 2 tight ends. We see the Niners do it all the time, and Juszczyk is a fullback. But when you have those 2 dudes on the field in Kittle and Juszczyk, now you can run and pass out of it.
They got a Shanahan calling them plays?
They don't. We know that. But what I'm saying is I think this is the formula of what they are trying to get to, and I think that is going to benefit. And then defense, you got better. You got to be able to guard and cover.
I like what the Steelers are doing. They trying.
They're trying.
I like that.
That's what I love.
As a player, when you're in that locker room,
correct,
you appreciate, like,
We're trying.
They going for it.
We're trying.
I like that.
Yeah, and if you're acquiring Aaron Rodgers, at a minimum, if he said this his last year, give him a legitimate shot. And T, you said it best. The Steelers are better today than they were yesterday.
Yeah, they are.
And that's all you can ask for. Hey, when we return, Caitlin Clark, 1.3 million votes as an all-star getter. She has absolutely become the sensation of the sports world. But how long until she needs to win a title? We're going to talk about that for a moment. And don't worry, we will revisit the breaking news of the day, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers. But for now, Caitlin Clark, how much pressure is she under? Heavy is the head that wears a crown, and Caitlin Clark is wearing all of the jewelry and the accessories as she sits on the throne as the biggest star in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, 1.3 million votes, leading all vote getters for the All-Star game. Remember, just 2 years ago, the leading vote getter in Asia Wilson got 95,000. But James, when you are a star of a nation, I believe you have to deliver, and you have to deliver soon. I think about Sha'Carri Richardson, as talented as she is. She went pro in 2019. It wasn't until 2023 that she finally had a world championship gold medal. Like, when you become a star, there's only a matter of time until you deliver. LeBron James, 2003 NBA draft, 2007, he finally goes to the NBA Finals. Like, it took him about 3-4 years. How long, James, until Caitlin Clark needs to win a title?
You know what? I was thinking between 4 to 5 years to get a title. But then again, as I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, Caitlin Clark ain't won a championship at no level.
Oh.
And I'm like, that changed my answer, because 5, 10, 50, you just got to win one. Mm-hmm. I don't care when it is. You just have to win one. Caitlin Clark is a special player, but when you talk championships and you talk about winning them, the Breanna Stewarts, the Diana Taurasi's, the Paige Beckers, the Angel Reeses, they have accomplished that. Ooh. But she has never accomplished that. So for me, I just want her to win one. I don't care if it's 5. I don't care if it's 10. I just want to see her get one accomplished. I don't want to put years on it because I haven't seen her win one yet. They are building a team around her that's pretty good. This Fever team is way better than they were last year. And they're going to have an opportunity to compete this year for a championship as well. But for Caitlin Clark, it's just about finally getting over that hump and winning a championship. And I'm not even going to put years on it. She just has to accomplish it.
Wow. I'm going to say 4 to 5 years. When you're a great player, when you're in college, you got to recruit. And the best players aren't going to Iowa. You named a lot of girls, they all went to the same school, UConn. So they winning. Like, Cheryl Swoops and Maya Moore, they're anomalies. They won a WNBA championship in their first year. But Diana Taurasi, her 4th year. Asia Wilson, her 5th year. And so when you're a great player, I'm going to give her 4 to 5 years to win this championship. And I believe she can do it. The way that she is as a player, just win one, to me, when you have this type of promise, this type of game, it can't just be just win me one. You got to win me one within the first 4 to 5 years and be a contender every year after that, because that's how good of a player she is.
Let me ask you very quickly, T. How long can Caitlin hold our attention without one? That's my fear. It's like, you're a great player, but if she's in a league and Paige starts to win them and Asia continues to get a couple more, like, how long can Caitlin hold our attention without one?
Hey, as long as she's still getting buckets and she's exciting, she going to hold everybody's attention if she can continue to. But when she's playing like this, that team success is going to have to come. And so as long as she can put the ball in the hoop, she's going to get our attention.
Well, speaking of getting our attention, not only did Caitlin Clark play a major role in getting the world's attention, but Angel Reese, you have my and the entire sports world's attention, I would hope, after yesterday's 24-16-7 performance. She also set a league record for becoming the first player in the WNBA with 15 or more rebounds in 4 straight games, bringing us on camera, because I have to be honest, I do not think we have given enough credit to Angel Reese. Not only over the last week and the last 2 weeks of the season, but also for the entirety of what she's also done for the rise of the WNBA. Now, let me start by saying this. Angel Reese, I love what she said post-game, because she said at the beginning of the season, I was terrible. Incredible accountability. There is nothing greater in sports than an athlete that takes accountability. She said, I was terrible. She said, so it was my job to figure out how to get everybody else involved. She said the 7 assists were the most important thing to me, not the 16 rebounds, not the 24 points. It was also the 7 assists. But I want to suggest that Angel Reese has also played a part in the rise of the WNBA. Do I think she's played the same part of Caitlin Clark? Absolutely not. Yeah. Do I think that Angel Reese is as good as Caitlin Clark? No, I do not, but that's not necessarily the conversation we're having, nor the conversation I'm trying to have. The conversation I'm trying to have is someone had to play the role that Angel Reese has played in all of this. Every story needs an antagonist that needs a protagonist. So some individuals, Angel Reese is the antagonist and Caitlin Clark is a protagonist. To some individuals, Angel Reese is a protagonist and Caitlin Clark is the antagonist. But every story, every movie you fell in love with, every book you've ever read, every soap opera or TV show you've ever watched, it has a villain and it has a hero. To some, Caitlin's a villain. To some, Caitlin's a hero. To some, Angel's a villain. To some, Angel's a hero. But regardless, Angel has to have played a role and has played a role in the rise of the W. Not the same, but this isn't a comparison game. This is simply stating a fact as well, but also what Angel has done as of late. 4 consecutive games, 15-plus rebounds, and not just the me-bounds that people are trying to say. 15-plus rebounds, 24, 16, and 7 after last night's performance. I did want to stop and take a moment and say, Angel has been balling, and salute to her as well. She's contributing.
And we got to give credit to Angel, too, because forget all the noise outside the basketball court and all that and who's more popular and all that type of stuff. The young woman is getting better. Mm-hmm. Her basketball game is getting better. From last year to this point of time right now, she is a much better basketball player. We are watching her grow as a basketball player. But for me, I think she's getting all the credit she deserves. I think she's getting just what she deserves. To be honest with you, when you look at the WNBA, you say Caitlin Clark probably first if you ask just a random, and the next person probably going to be Angel Reese. It is still the Asia Wilsons out there, the Breanna Stewarts out there, the Inescus out there, the Kelsey Plums out there. It's still them that are better players than Angel Reese, but Angel Reese is going to get talked about first. Yeah. When you look at the WNBA, a lot of the highlights other than Caitlin Clark are going to be Angel Reese, too, because of the impact she's having on the basketball court and to the WNBA fans around the world. So I think she's getting the attention that she deserves and that she has earned, but it is a lot better basketball players in this point of their career in the WNBA, and she's getting talked about more than them because of how she's changing the game of basketball.
Before you go, Colvin, let's do Dawn Staley next. I'm feeling that conversation. So, Angel Reese.
When you get 20, if she can continue to put up 24, 16, and 7,
man,
she only talked about a lot. Yeah. You can go 24, 16, and 7. That's rare. That is rare. And has she received enough credit? I'll say no, but she gets a ton of credit. Yeah. And it's what you just said is 100% correct. It's Caitlin Clark, then Angel Reese, and everybody. Yeah. And so, but it's what Acho said. That rivalry that they had in college has now come into the WNBA, and it's great for both of them, and it's great for the entirety of the WNBA, but we want to see points. And that's what Caitlin Clark does. If she can continue to do what she did last night, she's going to get talked about a lot more.